Nazis who are there. Totally people who've arrived went from
Maxim.
I really want to hear people.
Let's see if anything's happening. Let's see what I missed. Oh, pretty picture. Seems cold. 9-1. This looks 9 degrees Celsius. Yeah, it's pretty fucking cold. Fuck that. Let's see. There were explosions and blah, blah, blah. We see video description. They were hitting very badly. It was inside the mountain. There was a lot of light and exploding waves behind it. A few missiles that were also launched from Iran. I think they hit the launchers. Where is this? These fucking places, man. From where's this? That's in Iran. Okay, so it's near Tehran. Okay. So near Tehran, this was happening. Damn. It's fucking crazy. Well, it's far away enough to feel safe at least. Fuck. Alright, let's see. Alright, let's see. Oh shit. Let's see what he has to say. I don't like reading this after a long day of work, but the radical left Democrats, a party that has completely lost its way, complaining bitterly about the very necessary and important attack by the United States and Israel on Iran. What most people understand is that they are only complaining because I did it, and if I didn't do it, they would be screaming, why didn't Trump attack Iran? He should do it immediately. There's nothing surprising about this. It is the same people that the other night at the State of the Union wouldn't stand for anybody, including a mother who lost her beautiful daughter to an illegal alien, and great and brave helicopter pilot who got the Congressional Medal of Honor, or a 100-year-old veteran warrior whose bravery is legend. Fact is, whatever I do, they will be on the opposite side. These people are sick, crazy, and demented, but America, despite them all, is now bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Make America great again, President Donald J. Trump. Totally normal. Totally normal behavior. Just translating it. Sometimes they have some funny ass shit they say about Trump. Missile was just launched from the Parchin area towards western Iran. Damn.
You are.
I'm literally not. I'm asking you a question. You just refuse to answer. This is the game. How did I do it again? I'm asking you a clear question. You can't give me an answer.
I'm not going to talk to you unless you listen to what I'm saying as well as me listening to what you're saying.
I am listening.
Okay, good.
Welcome to Pangburn. Are we ready to go?
Let's just get a little bit going here. Test. Okay, that does that. All right. Because you can still hear me. Okay. Good. That would be good if there's anyone in here. There's not, which is good. Yes. Actually, let's do... This will be funny. There we go. I'll just put that there for me real quick. I'll be back in a second. I'm still here, but whatever. Damn. Ooh. Comes in quick.
That's my fucking truck.
Based. Rip.
اوت اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. اوتيو.
It's a big boom.
Доганяє, да. Да, все знято.
Rip.
لا هاي ما تقوم سيارة سوا.
يلا طفي ثاني شيء.
ايه الله أكبر يا الله أكبر الله أكبر.
It was pretty crazy to get this footage.
الله أكبر يا الله أكبر الله أكبر.
Damn. Jesus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. They're still coming. Hell yeah. God bless America. Hell yeah. Wait, that's that shitty one. Let's see.
ए शमशेर भाई और भी एक हैं अल्लाहु अकबर 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 शमशेर भाई इधर आ जाओ इस साइड में आ जाओ
Damn. Damn. Uh-oh. This looks like some VHS shit. Oh, it's a fucking recording of a computer screen. This is gonna be good. All right. People actually might die in this. Like, you might be able to see it. I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to show that, right? All right, let me see. I'll let you know if it's good. Ooh. All right, nothing special. Nothing special. Ooh. It just goes to show that any air defense system can be overwhelmed. No matter who you are. Launching drones, rockets towards Israel. Fucking lawnmower ass. Okay, that one seems okay, yeah, those ones are pretty real. Better than their fucking lawnmower ass drones. This is a pretty well placed camera. Oh, kitty. Oh, kitty. At least the kitty's safe. That's the important part, really. Rip. Mm-hmm. crazy how fucking high def this shit is. Surprised you can like see these people running away. Like, that can't be that far. It's got to be what, like 6, 8 feet? And that rocket hits right there. I don't know how that dude walks away from that. Am I crazy? Yo, what's up, XP? Supposedly, Trump talked with the leaders of the Kurdish militias today, so we might be seeing some good ground strikes from them on the IRGC forces. Well, at least he's not throwing them under the bus this time. That's kind of cool. Kurds are always ready to fuck some shit up if they want. People are fucking shit up in the Middle East. They are in on it. Well, there's at least other good guys-ish. How you doing, man? How was your day? Dude, it's just crazy how fucking high def this shit is. Bonk. I only saw one report on it citing an unnamed U.S. source. I believe it was the Guardian's coverage today. I forget the site. I read it, but it was definitely on the Guardian. Trump, Kurds, attack, Iran. Ooh. Brookings, PBS, blah. What did you say? Trump leaders. Trump, Kurdish. Militias. I'm doing well. I had a long ass day though. My alarm was for fucking 4:45 this morning because I had to be out the door by 5:30. So I'm a little tired. I don't know how long I'll be able to go, but that's why I want to at least get on a little bit, get some hours in. Let's see. Is it this? This is from 2 days ago. Wait, no. Trump Kurdish. Let's see. Kuwait. Kurd. Several loud explosions in Riyadh, the capital of Northern Iraq region. Associated Press journalists heard several loud explosions Monday morning in Erbil. Erbil? How do you pronounce that? Erbil. Damn, what the fuck's going on with my computer? Report didn't say that they would attack, but they would point him calling them. I'd search. Trump calls with Kurds if you can find it. Damn, my computer's... Erbil. My computer's struggling. Trump call with Kurds. Oh, here we go. Sounds like what you were going with. President Trump spoke by phone with Kurdish leaders in Iraq on Sunday to discuss the U.S.-Israel war with Iran and what might come next. 3 sources. Why it matters. The Kurds have thousands of soldiers along the Iran-Iraq border and control strategic areas that could be significant as the war develops. Iraqi Kurds also have close ties to Iran's Kurdish minority. Okay, zoom in. Trump talks to leaders. Sensitive for client. Not you. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Anytime we get them in on the game plan, it's good. It's Axio's place. Yeah. I mean, would be smart for Trump to use these people as the boots on the ground if we actually ended up needing it. Wouldn't be the worst idea that he's had. Like I said, even he might be dumb, but he can do 1 or 2 things right.
What I hope to see on the Pangburn stage here tonight is what I always want to see, and that's good faith helpful discourse.
I might
The
just watch a
Pangburn
little bit of this.
maxim, the communication maxim, is that
Have
good
you watched
faith
this
and
yet?
helpfulness are the minimum requirements for a fruitful dialectic. That's what we want to see. And ultimately, I hope this conversation tonight, when it
What do you say? That seemed like one of the most significant and underreported things I saw today. It was bound to happen eventually. Good to hear the process. Yeah, honestly, it is good. Because I think they should, like, the Kurds should definitely be involved in any major, event of that size when it comes to changing leadership in that area. Like, it makes sense. Like, they should have their own state there anyway, so might as well let them feel like they're involved in a good way, especially for everything they've done for us. It's the least we can do.
shared with the world will maximize well-being for humanity in one way or another. So, in saying that, please welcome to the stage Konstantin, KISIN, and Destiny.
It's got that good voice going for it.
Can national identity survive open immigration?
I guess I'll
You
I'll
can
take
go for it.
I'll kind of take the reins on this. I feel like when I hear people talk about things related to open borders, mass migration, or national identity, there's kind of two questions that always pop up in my mind, and I never hear people actually kind of tack down what they mean when they say these things. So the first thing is, for national identity, I don't know as much about the various identities that exist in the UK, but I know for the United States, to try to find an overlap between identity from a gay guy in San Francisco versus like a farmer in Iowa or something is
What do you say? XP said the other underreported significant event I saw was that Macron said, quote, "We must be feared in order to be free," while announcing that France will start giving some of their nukes to Europe. Wait, the fuck? Wait, really? I don't believe you. What the fuck? I don't believe you. France, fuck you, deny. France will increase its nuclear warheads for the first time in decades. French announced Monday, saying, "To be free, we must be feared, or we have to be feared." He delivered the update in the country's nuclear strategy in a keynote speech from the military base housing the nation's ballistic missile submarines. All right, I'm just going to read this whole thing. French President Emmanuel Macron announced the updates to France's doctrine to the potential use of nuclear weapons in a keynote speech delivered from a military base hosting the country's ballistic missile submarines. Macron said that France was entering a new phase in its nuclear deterrence strategy, one that would complement NATO's nuclear mission, and he invited European allies to participate in nuclear deterrence exercises. Okay, that's good. What I'd like is for Europeans to regain control of their own destiny, Macron said. France is poised to increase its nuclear warheads for the first time in decades. Macron emphasized that the country's nuclear power would be in the service of peace. However, he warned of the country's capacity to potentially draw on a significant nuclear arsenal in a way that, quote, "no other country, no power, however strong, could recover." The president added that France would host a summit in Paris March 10th. I just want to see if we talk about giving them to other countries, because that's crazy. I understand, like, if they want to have them stationed in other NATO or allied countries, like they control them, but I doubt they're just going to give them to them, right? That just seems silly. The world's fourth ranking. What? U.S., Russia, China, France? That's got to be the order. "We have to re-articulate nuclear deterrence," Macron told the Munich Security Council last month, adding that France has already had a, quote, "strategic dialogue with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and other European leaders on increasing cooperation. Europe has to learn to become a geopolitical power." France and Britain adopted a joint declaration in July that allows both nations' nuclear forces to be, quote, "coordinated while remaining independent." Okay. The UK, no longer an EU member, but a NATO ally, is the only other European country with a nuclear deterrent. It is crazy that places like, well, All right, actually, it does make sense why Germany doesn't have one. Never mind. France's deterrent doctrine relies on a defensive strategy intended to safeguard the country's vital interest. While France is also a member of NATO, it maintains full independence over its nuclear forces while contributing to the alliance's broader deterrence posture. Now, what I read is that they are loaning them the planes, but that they're going to let each country make their own decision in when and how to use. Like the planes with the nukes in them? XP? Because that would be crazy. With defenses. It would no longer publicize how many weapons it has. It will work alongside a number of European allies on joint exercise. It will consider stationing some of its nuclear assets in other countries, which could be a whoa, okay. Today, a new step of France's deterrence cannot be taken. We are entering a path of what I call forward deterrence. It will finally provide for temporary deployment of elements. UK, Germany, Poland, the Netherlands. Is this Destiny 2? Angel Thump. Yeah, why not? It's Destiny 2. We'll call it that for right now. How you doing, Schmeluel? What's up, dude? We're learning how France is apparently giving out nukes. It's pretty sweet. This marks a sharp turn away from France's prior nuclear strategy, which largely followed a defensive logic. The nation did not enter into an arms race and kept a minimum number of weapons, just under 300. That's a decent amount, I feel like. 300? Like, how many nukes does China have? Does China have 600? All right. I mean, that's not bad. I would have thought almost they had more than fucking 300. I feel like that's a decent amount of fucking nukes. But what do I know? Schmeluel, whatever your name is. Did you watch this at all? The Destiny fucking Constantine?
Not many
thing?
commonalities there to speak of when you talk about national identity,
Yeah.
especially when I'm thinking of it in the context.
It seems mostly for potential defense against Russia. Eventually, it was going to get this, but it's interesting that the timing of it happened right after the start. Yeah. I mean, Russia's got to be feeling pretty fucking shitty right now. Like, all their friends in the area just got obliterated, including in Venezuela. Is probably only friend on North or South American continent. Rip. Couldn't have happened to a better guy, though, if we're being honest.
Context of what type of immigrant would threaten that whatever unified identity, whatever those two things are. Two questions that always pop up in my mind, and I never hear people actually kind of
Yeah, a bit. Constantine gets pretty triggered. Oh, yes.
tack down what they mean when they say these things. So the first thing
excited.
is
You got me excited.
for national identity. I don't know as much about the various identities that exist in the UK, but I know for the United States, to try to find an overlap between identity from a gay guy in San Francisco versus like a farmer in Iowa or something there's not many
Actually, I don't even
commonalities
think I
there
tweeted this out. Not that it would
to
matter,
speak
but
of when you talk about national identity, especially when I'm thinking of it in the context of what type of immigrant would threaten
Why not?
that whatever unified identity, whatever those two things are.
Might as well try and do it
So I'm kind
right.
of curious, I guess, when I think about national identity, when I think about it being threatened by people, my first question is, what is the national identity that we're trying to protect for the United States or for the United Kingdom? And then when we talk about like migration or mass migration, what do we mean exactly when we say that?
Well, okay. So there's two questions there. What is national identity and what is immigration? Why don't we start in reverse and talk about immigration? Take Britain as an example, right?
Oh, shit. Sorry.
So I've lived in this country. I came to Britain from, it was just about Russia. Prior to that, it was the Soviet Union in 1996. So let's go back to 1991, because that's the data when we have the census. 1991. What has happened in the last 35 years? So in the last 35 years ago, this country had a population of 58 million people. Today, the population is 70 million. almost all of that is due to mass immigration. So the population of Britain, the immigrant population of Britain, that's first generation, people who've arrived, went from 4 million to 12 million in the space of 35 years, right? It trebled in 35 years. Now, you might say, well, you know, is that a lot? Is that a little? Who knows? That is more people, in the last 35 years, more people came to Britain than came to Britain in the previous 2 millennia. So more people in 35 years than had come in 2,000 years. Now, that seems like quite a lot, right? Now, we'll talk about some more facts about this, and then we can talk about national identity. I'm going to take a little time, if you don't mind, just to lay this out.
Yeah, I guess just to kind of poke around as you answer.
Yeah, but hold on. Let me just let's talk about what we mean by immigration, right?
Okay. Well, then also the mass, because I hear a lot of these words will be like, it was a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah, it has been pretty bad for
I'm
bricks.
explaining it. So
Okay.
more people in 35 years than 2,000 years, that sounds like quite a lot of people. Is
Not
that fair?
necessarily, no.
Is that fair?
No, not really, right? In the
Not
context,
really.
like if I were to
The
ask
deep
for like
state
the
actually went
total
against
growth of wealth
fucking Russia,
compared to
that'd be
like the
awesome.
last like 50 years might also dwarf the last 2,000 years, or the total amount of carbon pollution, or the total amount of TV episodes or plays written or songs written. Like I don't know if I would just arbitrarily say I'm going to look at immigration and I'm going to measure it past some 1,000-year thing or whatever.
You don't think that more people coming into a country in 35 years than had come in the previous 2,000 years is quite a lot?
I just think that that statement is like vacuous and meaningless.
Turning the camera off for just a couple minutes real quick. Sorry.
When we
I'm
say
still here,
quite a
though.
lot, what like should it have been less? Like what kind of immigrants shouldn't have come?
No.
What does that mean?
You're making it into a moral conversation. I'm talking about purely numbers. You might think it's a great thing, right? Like,
Well, to be clear, I'm not talking. Just to be clear, real quick, I'm not talking moral.
You keep interrupting.
You said a lot, yeah.
You keep interrupting. So,
Uh-oh. We are, what, like 2-3 minutes into the debate, and Konstantin's already fucking a little triggered? Oh, boy.
Okay.
if we're talking about quite a lot, you keep trying to make it a moral thing.
I'm not making it a moral thing.
If we're going to have a conversation, you're going to have...
He's...
I'm not talking moral.
You keep interrupting.
You said a lot, yeah.
You keep interrupting. So,
Okay.
if we're talking about quite a lot, you keep trying to make it a moral thing.
I'm not making it a moral thing.
Dude, he is so pissed. He is so pissed off already.
If we're going to have a conversation, you're going to have to let me finish a sentence at least.
Well, just don't misquote my position.
Okay,
yeah.
so just calm down for a bit.
I'm super calm.
I know you've got your Red Bull. Just have
I
some...
have-
Oh. Dude, we're not even like 5 minutes in. It's 1:30 in the afternoon.
My
Already
Red Bull,
chill
I'm
out.
still super calm.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a very
Now-
simple question, yeah.
If more people... If you're making a moral issue, it becomes very clouded and complicated. Let's just talk about what we're talking about in terms of pure numbers, right? If more people have come into a country in 35 years than have come in 2,000 years, that is objectively a lot. Now, you might think it's a good thing. Like, I like ice cream, and if I eat a tub of ice cream, I'm not going to say that's not a lot of ice cream. I still like it, but it's a lot of ice cream, right? We'd accept that. It's more, a scoop is not a lot of ice cream, a tub is a lot of ice cream. So more people coming into a country in 35 years...
Glad to
than
talk
have
about the
come in
important
2000
things so far. He's bringing up the real important facts. QAnon was a CIA psyop to control opposition, the alt-right, and get them back on the plantation. Part of me believes that they think of that was a product of their own retardation. It was too effective and too good to be an actual CIA psyop. The CIA is not that good.
years is objectively a lot of people. Okay?
Like I was saying yesterday, Trump is part of the establishment, and it's all one uniparty run by the Department of Defense, Department of War, excuse me, and the CIA. That's what has kept the U.S. on top since World War II. Hey, they're keeping us on top. Let's fucking go.
Just
Who
to be
cares?
clear,
If
when
the
you
CIA
say a
is doing
lot,
it,
that's a normative
I like it.
value.
I'd
That's
rather
with
be
respect
first.
to some kind of norm or when you
No.
say a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. Compared to before.
Yeah,
Compared
that's
to the entire
objectively
span of the
that is
history of this country.
objectively true. It's just kind
I'm
of a
Team
meaningless
CIA, let's
statement.
go.
So you've
Everything is
accepted-
a lot
you've
more
accepted
than the
that what
past
I'm saying
2
is
millennia.
objectively
Yeah.
true. I'm grateful.
Correct. Yes, that's
So-
a meaningless statement, but yes.
Now that we've got there,
He's just looking at the ground. Oh,
what does it mean? Well, first of all,
oh, he's looking at his notes. Okay.
think about it like this. And again, it's not about whether you like it or not, whether you think it's a good thing or not, or a bad thing. The three biggest cities in this country, in the last 30 years, have ceased to be majority inhabited by the people who are native to this land. That's just a fact. And I am one of the people who's come here in that time. So I'm not saying it's only a terrible thing, but it's an objective fact. The three biggest cities in the country are now majority minority. London, and this has happened very quickly. London was 80% white British in 1991. It is probably around 30% white British today. So if you have seen that level of change in the city in which you live, think about this as well. 3/4 of the people who live in this country today are over the age of 35. So all of this has happened within the lifetime of one generation, effectively. That is a level of change that is A, completely unprecedented, B, extremely transformative, whether you like it or not, good or bad, whatever you may think. You might think, oh, you know, the amount of different kinds of food has got better. It's true, objectively. But it's also true, objectively, that entire swathes of this city are no longer inhabited by the people who used to live here. Again, this is an objective fact. You can like it, you can dislike it, but that is something that has happened. This is true of...
Anyways, I just popped in for a few minutes. Got dropped Tim Jewel. Thank you. I got to head out, but always have a good rest of your stream. And then night, bro, don't forget to look into Malcolm X's Autopsy. I promise, XP, next time you're in and I'm streaming, remind me and we'll go right over that, okay? Try and find me some good links of things for that, all right? Hold me to my word. Shots from above, report from below. God damn it, dude. Well, we'll look into that next time you're in, all right? You enjoy the rest of your night.
London, it's true of Manchester, it's true of Birmingham, and it's true of several other smaller cities in this country. By 2060, according to current projections, white British people will become a minority in this country. 2060 is the next 35 years, right?
Catch you later, dude.
And that's the entire kind of demographic transformation. These are facts. Forget about people's opinions, my opinion, your opinion. In terms of illegal immigration, there are now almost 1 million, we don't know exactly because it's hard to measure, but we have almost 1 million illegal immigrants in Britain today, which for a population of 70 million is quite a lot. We currently spend £14 million a day I'm not talking about the cost to the taxpayer of having 1 million illegal immigrants here. I'm talking about how much we spend to accommodate them and all other things. Now, 14 million, is that a lot per day? It's quite a lot. But also this is happening at an unprecedented rate. More people come to Britain illegally today than came legally when I came here in 1996. I'll say that again. More people come here illegally every year than came here in 1996 when I came here. That's the level of change when it comes to illegal immigration, and the cost of it, £14 million a day, is increased by a factor of 10 in the last 10 years alone. So it's 1,000% more than what it was. Those are the facts about immigration. So when we talk about immigration and whether it's compatible with national identity, it depends what we mean. If we're talking about, 20, 30, 40,000 people a year, highly selective from compatible cultures as it used to be, perfectly compatible, and in fact, I think probably quite desirable. If we're talking about what we've seen over the last 30 years, I don't think it's compatible with any sort of national identity at all. Now, I've been talking for a long time, so we can get to national identity after you've addressed that.
Did he say anything of substance during that entire spiel? Because I feel like all he basically said was that, like, the area is just not as white as it used to be. The UK is just a little bit more brown and not as unacceptable. He just spoke for like 5 minutes and said nothing.
Sure. So I guess the thing that is a little bit strange to me about the immigration question is that sometimes I'll hear a bunch of descriptions laid out, and I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do with them. There's oftentimes a lack of a prescriptive statement. It seems like there's a little bit of fear of committing to any particular idea about what an ideal immigrant would look like. And then it feels like we're sometimes also lumping a ton of immigrants together. So for instance, when we say there have been so many more immigrants that have come here in the past 30, 35 years, but then we also mention like illegal immigrants or asylum seekers, these are all different groups of people. So I don't know why. I
separated them out. I talked about legal immigration and illegal immigration, right?
I understand, but so the prompt has to do with basically can a country's culture, whatever, survive mass migration? Illegal immigrants are not mass migrating here. The mass migration.
They are. So I just told you more illegal immigrants come here every year now than legal immigrants came here 30 years ago.
I understand that, but if you look at
they are mass migrating.
So then are the legal ones mass migrating, or what? Is it just...
The legal immigrants are also mass migrating. It's possible for them both
But it's
to be
like
mass
10 to
migrating.
1, right? So
Yes.
so comparing the two is, it seems like we're talking about different kinds of, we're probably talking about different kinds of immigrants. When we talk about legal versus illegal.
We're talking about both, yeah.
Well, no,
I'm talking about both.
you don't see any difference between a legal immigrant versus an illegal immigrant.
Well, of course I do.
Okay.
But they are both mass migrating here. They're both coming here in unprecedented numbers.
Everything definitionally is unprecedented as you move forward in years. We have an unprecedented amount of technology, an unprecedented amount of energy generation, an unprecedented amount of
I think you might be confused about the meaning of the word unprecedented.
unprecedented as in it hasn't happened at that level before. Yeah.
Right. So if we have immigration of 20,000 people a year, that wouldn't be unprecedented because we had that before.
Yeah, but the population is growing of the country, the population of the rest of the planet is growing, the economy is growing, there's a whole bunch of other factors at play. It's not like all else equal, there's just 10 million people that have shown up. Like there's other factors at play at all points in time as well. So it's a bit reductive to say, like, well, we have an unprecedented wave of whatever. There's unprecedented things happening definitionally every year forward into the future we go.
No, that's
Yes.
not true.
And what's the thing that's been frozen in time?
I just explained it to you.
Yes, you laid out a bunch of numbers, and I just explained why they're contextless and meaningless. But now I'm asking, what is the thing that's unprecedented?
Look,
or I'm sorry, what would be a thing that is not changing in the past 30 years? Like if you had to look at something.
One of the most amazing things of arguing with anybody from your position is the extent to which they refuse to understand what words mean. I just explained to you repeatedly what unprecedented means. It means that it hasn't happened before. There have been times in the history of this country when its immigration.
Pretty shitty that that got in the hands of the enemy that quickly. Wait. Oh, it might be like jet power to get started, and then it goes to propeller mode, right? Ooh, pretty. Sorry, if anyone's here actually watching, and a long day at work today, so I just wanted to get on stream. If you guys want me to talk, you're going to need to talk.
Was in the tens of thousands, and for us to
You
go
all
back to
motherfuckers
that
need to talk,
would
right?
not be going back.
I'm tired.
Would not
I'm
be
cranky.
going forward to
You're
something
looking at me fucking here.
unprecedented. It would be returning to something that we
I
used
know
to
I'm
do.
lucky.
Sure.
Right?
My question.
Listen, I know I'm lucky that you're here. If I'm being honest, like I need you more than you need me at this point. And I mean, at this point in our relationship, I get it. And it's not easy to, like, you know, admit this, like admit that, you know, you need help or you're not feeling as strong as you normally do. It's so all I'm saying is I'm swallowing a lot of pride by admitting that I do need you more than you need me. And I feel like if I'm honest, we get started off on the right foot, and I think it's good.
And so what has happened in the last 30
I understand
years
what's happened. You've explained it
is
several times.
unprecedented.
Is there anything in U.S. culture, in British culture, that has remained the same for the past 30, 40, 50, 60 years, for the past 100 years, that doesn't have an unprecedented thing happening constantly?
Absolutely. I mean, that is what a culture is. It was what is preserved over time.
How?
A culture is what people do without having been told to do so by a law.
Can you? Yeah, but what is an example of a culture that is unchanging?
How much have you traveled around the world?
Probably more than you.
Probably not, actually.
Okay. So then you should be able to very easily answer. Well, here's an example of a culture that exists.
Well, every time I try and answer your question, you keep talking over
Well, it's
me.
because when you answer, you.
Damn, he's so fucking pissed. Those fucking dead eyes. It's like a great white shark.
Ramble and say
There's
irrelevant
nothing
things.
there.
So my question
How
is
can
like,
I ramble in half a sentence?
you've been saying plenty of sentences. Do you think the speaking time up to this point is even, or do you think you've spoken more than me?
I have spoken more than you, but I haven't
Exactly. So
interrupted
then you've had an
you.
opportunity to speak. You're just not answering my question. So my question is very simple. What's a culture that you feel has been unchanged for the past 50 years?
Just watch
Or
Tucker
what is an example of
Carlson.
cultural preservation? I feel like cultures are evolving
some
all the
crazy
time.
shit.
It's definitionally a part of culture.
Of course. Cultures are evolving all the time. But if you were to be plonked in 1970s Afghanistan and 1990s Afghanistan and 2010s Afghanistan and 1950s Britain, 1970s Britain and 2010s Britain, there would be common themes that run through both of those places so that you would instantly recognize, I am in Afghanistan, I am in Britain. Would you accept that?
I agree that different cultures are different. Yes.
Right, well
Yeah.
done. Good. So we've got there then.
Well, you just established that there are. This is like saying
Different
that
cultures are different, which means that
that
they
wasn't
have
the
something
question.
about them
Yes, and
that makes them different.
If
right?
you have a brother, both of you will be different for your entire lives. But
But
that
there
doesn't
would
mean
be a family culture that you have
But-
that's different to other
Couple
families.
brave
you wouldn't be the
boats in
same
there,
as you were when you were
being
10 years
honest.
old.
No,
you
you
would grow
wouldn't.
and change,
Of
right?
course.
So when you talk about
But you're still
preserving
the same
culture,
person, right?
What?
You're still the same person.
Yeah, but you're dramatically changed.
But you're still the same.
No. Are you the same as you were 10 or 15 years ago? What do you mean by that? The
I'm
same. You're not unchanged, right?
Are you pretending to be a moron or are you actually being one?
So your claim change,
Of
right?
course.
So when you talk
He's
about
so
But you're still
preserving
the same
culture,
person, right?
What?
You're still the same person.
Yeah, but you're dramatically changed.
But you're
You-
still the same.
No. Are you the same as you were 10 or 15 years ago? What do you mean by that? The
I'm s-
same. You're not unchanged, right?
Are you pretending to be a moron or are you actually being one?
So your claim was that we need to preserve culture because cultures aren't supposed to change.
No,
you're
that's not my claim.
Okay, then help me understand. So
Okay, I will, if
because
you
because
stop
if you don't
interrupting me.
remember, this whole topic started with I'm curious. What is a thing that is precedented? What's the thing that happens continuously through all of history that isn't changing? And then you pointed to the fact that Afghanistan and the United Kingdom are different cultures. Like that's something that I would reject.
No, I didn't. I was just explaining to you what cultures are, which are the cultural differences between groups of people.
There we go.
That remain fairly constant over time despite changing somewhat, as all cultures do.
Your definition of culture is the difference between your culture and another
No,
culture?
I gave you my definition.
You just said. You said it
I-
was the
I came
differences
here-
between cultures that change over time that define one culture against another one.
Okay, let's reset. And
Okay.
you talk for a bit, and then I talk for a bit, and then you talk for a bit.
Well, no,
and
because I
talk
noticed
for a
that this is how it feels like a lot of these types of people, the centrists, the reformers, the MAGA, whatever, is you paint with such broad brushstrokes that by the end of a sentence, I feel like you haven't really said much at all. And I'm just kind of curious why, when you guys speak about things like the preservation of culture, I don't really hear you allude to anything concrete. Or when you talk about wanting to preserve something, you talk about how something has changed. I don't necessarily hear, like, what are the things that are changing that you don't like. You'll point to things like crimes, but I mean, like, crimes are illegal. Obviously, they shouldn't be happening. I just don't really hear anything concrete ever, and it's very unsatisfying to listen to a bunch of people kind of ramble on and on and on without ever having a clear point about what they're talking about. So I guess I'm just trying to figure out, for British or American culture, what are these things that you feel are common, maybe you go back 30, 40, 50 years, that were common across the whole country that you feel are changing in a way that they never changed in the past?
Okay, done?
Are you going to answer that question? He's not going to answer the question. Go ahead.
I've attempted to answer your question many times, and I'll do so again. However, first of all, am I going to be okay to speak now for a bit? Is that going to happen?
Sure. Can you repeat my question first so I know what you're...
Your question is about what is culture. You brought up crime.
That wasn't my question. My
It wasn't your
question is,
question.
over the past 30 or 40 years, what are things that have changed
Yeah.
in American or British culture that you feel over the past 200 years before that were unchanging?
Okay. One of the things that has changed in Britain over the last 30 years is we now have extensive number of Islamist terrorist attacks, mass stabbings, mass rape of British girls by Islamist and Muslim grooming gangs. This is not something that happened in this culture before.
Okay, so sexual
So
assault and
that-
rape did happen before in
Did
British
you hear the
culture,
words
right?
I said, or did
So
you
you said
take
grooming gangs. I know there's the example from the 80s and 90s of the Rotherham
They're not from the
grooming
80s
gang.
and 90s. They're happening right now.
What is another grooming gang example? Because I know there are rapes and stuff that happen, but I don't think there are...
Yeah, well, let me explain it to you. So grooming gangs, this is a euphemism that we use to pretend that they're not what they are mass rape gangs where young British girls, usually underage, but also often sometimes young women, would be plied with drugs, plied with alcohol, would be taken from the care homes where they were, predominantly by Pakistani, sometimes other Indian subcontinent Muslims. They would be targeted primarily because they were white and British, so these were racially aggravated hate crimes. And they would be mass raped over periods of years sometimes. That did not used to happen in Britain.
So
That is a cultural
it did used
change.
to happen.
Can I
'cause the
finish
big-
what I'm saying,
Okay,
please?
you're not going to answer my question. Okay.
I am answering your question.
Well, but my
That
question
is
was,
a
what are examples? I don't think this has happened outside of the Rotherham grooming gang, that whole scandal. There have been rapes, there have been gang rapes, but the idea of like a coordinated grooming gang type mass Pakistani targeting British girls rapes, that type of thing is not a thing that I'm aware has been seen in Britain outside of the large Rotherham scandal.
So, well, I don't know. I think the fact that somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million British girls might have been raped by these gangs is quite a big deal, and it represents a change in the culture of this country that I think is quite unwelcome.
I never said it wasn't a big deal. I think rape is bad. I just think it's bad when white people do it too. I think it's bad when everybody does it. My understanding is right now for the crime stats in the United Kingdom, it tends to be more white people are even overrepresented in terms of sexual
lot of
assault and rape.
military-ass
But
planes.
I'm aware that there are immigrants that rape people as well. I think all rape
It
is
is
bad,
crazy
but the idea that there is
seeing
a
how many
mass
fucking
Islamist,
planes are just,
jihadist,
like,
rape gang-centered thing
en
in the
route
United Kingdom that's
to the Middle
functioning, I
East.
think is
how many girls would have to be raped for you to admit that it's a mass thing?
Just a bunch of cargo planes.
the question isn't if it's a mass
Well,
thing. The
if a-
question is
if
if it's
half a
organized. You have a
million
huge
girls-
problem with definitions.
if
I'm sorry, let me try to
half
keep this
a mi-
tight.
if
You're
half a
not
million
understanding.
girl-
You're not following the conversation.
Stephen, you've
Rape
gotta-
is bad,
if
but
half a million-
organized
let-
grooming gang
You've asked
rape
me a
is
lot
a-
of
that's a different
questions, and
thing.
every time I
Well,
answer them,
you're
you
not
ignore my
answering really
answer.
at all, but
Now
go ahead.
answer my question.
Yeah.
Answer my question. If 500,000 girls have been mass raped in this way, specifically being targeted because they were not of a particular religion or ethnicity, how many of them would have to be treated in this way for you to admit that it's a mass thing? What's the number that makes a mass? Answer my question.
question wasn't. I don't know
The
how you would.
answer's
I
a
don't know how you
number.
would identify
Give
a
us a
mass
number.
thing.
Give us a
the question
number.
was
Give
organized
us a
grooming.
number. You said
500,001. So you're
Okay.
right. You're right beneath the threshold. Maybe tomorrow
Well,
you'll
it's-
have it.
it's actually-
So the question is
it's
there
actually
organized?
between it's 500,000
Okay,
and
so
1 million.
okay, I'll ramble for a
you've
second, and then
agreed
you
that
can
it's
ramble
mass.
afterwards. since
So
we're
you
not gonna
agree
go back
that
and
it's
forth.
mass?
My issue is because you guys do this thing over and over again, where you won't accurately identify a problem. You'll invent these things because rape isn't bad enough. Now it has to be like a mass grooming gang rape thing. And then what happens is you conservatives, you play this game where you falsely identify a problem, you lie to the audience about it, and then you manage to gain power. You go through with some wacky scheme. Go figure, the wacky scheme doesn't fix anything, and then somehow you come back with the same recycled narratives over and over again, asking for another shot at it. It's happening right now with Farage and reform. It happened with Brexit. Brexit didn't reduce immigration. It didn't help you with your economy. It didn't do anything really good for the United Kingdom at all. And then it's happening now with reform coming in and making all of these promises to the British people that you're going to be able to cut all of the revenues coming in. You're going to be able to increase all of your funding. You're going to have a no-wait NHS. And it's all built on the same lies over and over again that didn't help you affect any positive outcomes in the past, and it's not going to help you affect any positive outcomes in the future. You can sit here and you can be upset about it, but I watched you and Matt Goodwin debate on stage where you guys both made the bold prediction that once the Tories were out, your immigration numbers would be over 1 million per year. They plummeted to 300,000. I haven't heard you say anything about that. Your predictions were completely wrong, just as they were with Brexit as well.
Well, that was a wonderful presentation. The problem
Clever.
for you is I voted Remain in the referendum.
Because you hadn't been bullied by the Cambridge students yet. I'm aware of the history, but I know.
So you've come here with a bunch of talking points. That's great.
Hold on. We can break down
Stephen,
anything you want.
stop interrupting.
Don't accuse me of having talking points.
Stop
Deal with my
interrupting.
arguments.
Stop interrupting.
Then address what I
Stop
said.
interrupting.
Address what I've said.
Stop interrupting.
Address what I've said.
Stop interrupting.
I believe in you.
Stop interrupting.
I never understand when people do that. It doesn't look good.
I let you talk and I let you make your points. Have some respect for me and for my opportunity to express myself as well. That is how a debate is conducted. So stop interrupting.
We
started this with a conversation about mass
fighter
immigration,
jet.
and I gave you the facts
real
on it,
goddamn
and I
fighter
defined
jet.
what immigration is, right? Mass immigration. Now, you're talking
will
about
find
culture.
one.
I also
Chat.
explained to you what culture is, and I explained it to you by explaining that it's a continuity
find
of certain things, which may also evolve over time. Now, in terms of your point about mass immigration since Brexit, I was not a supporter of Brexit. I didn't think it was necessarily a good idea. And I agree with you that it hasn't reduced immigration. But I don't see how that's relevant to this conversation. We have had mass immigration happen in this country continually over a long period of time, which has changed the country in the way that I gave you. And I gave you a number of examples, like Islamist terrorism, like grooming gangs and other things, which I don't think you're able to address because they counteract the argument that you keep making, which is, well, nothing changes when you bring in 8 million people over 30 years.
Did I say that?
Can I finish, please?
Did I say that?
Numbers.
Can
Why do you
I
have to
finish?
invent
Can I finish,
points?
please?
You
Can
just
I
can't
fin-
address anything.
Can
I
I
say?
finish,
Okay.
please? If I
Well, pretend
interrupted
it's a
you,
podcast
if I
episode. Go ahead.
interrupted you every
Make up
time you
positions for me.
misrepresent my
Go for
argument,
it.
you'd never talk at
Go
all.
for it. Okay.
So can I finish, please? You made the point that basically what I'm trying to
Never
say
heard
is,
that flavor.
not trying to say, what I'm saying is, when you bring in large
Private
numbers of
chat.
people into a country
Let's
from a
go.
different culture, that will necessarily change the culture. The other thing that I explained to you is there's been such a large wave of immigration into this country now that has fundamentally changed the sense of British people about the place in which they live.
Boring.
It is affecting the demographic dynamics
these are
of major
low.
cities in this country and the way people feel about that. But all of those things, the facts that I gave you about immigration, they are what they are. You can think that they're good, you can think that they're bad.
Lame.
That is a separate conversation. The facts
this?
are
Leonardo,
what they are.
that's the
right?
Italian
There's
company.
also a thing about how British people feel about it. When I came to this
Lame.
country in 1996, 3% of the British public thought that immigration was a major concern. Today, about 65 to 70% of British people say that there are too many immigrants in this country and too many immigrants coming here. Now, I think British people probably have a better idea of how they feel about immigration than you, Stephen,
Hercules,
and that is
lame.
how they feel.
Why do you think over half the British population believes that the majority of the immigrants here today are here illegally, if they've got such a great handle on it or a great idea about what immigration
That's
is
a
doing
good
to the country?
The reason that people overestimate immigration is people generally, when asked about things, overestimate pretty much everything or underestimate things terribly because people are not very good with numbers. But the other reason, of course, people aren't able to quote you the exact number of people who
I didn't ask for a quote of the exact number.
You said this earlier, and I'm addressing your broader point, which is why do people misunderstand the immigration statistics? Is that
Ooh,
people
we got
don't look at
not
immigration
availables.
as
Yeah, I
this
can't
is
hear
the
your
number of
comments.
people who came
I think you
this
said
year,
lame,
and
everything
this
else
the
is
number of
mumbled.
people who
Oh,
came
hold
last
on.
year. They look at the reality of their lives. They look at the change they see
Is that
around
any
them.
better?
What they're really concerned
I might not
about
be talking
is
loud
the
enough.
cumulative impact of immigration over the period of their lifetime, which, as I explained to you, has been
Let me know
huge,
again, Mark.
unprecedented
Again.
over the last 35 years, and will be even more unprecedented in terms of its cumulative impact over the next 35 years. Now, it's true that immigration has come down to 300 or something thousand in the last year. Doesn't mean it will stay that way, but also I never predicted it would get to 1 million. I think Matt did. But the point I would make is the transformation over a 30-year period is what people actually care about, and which is what they're right to care about. Now, as for the point about illegal immigration, yeah, it's true. Illegal immigration
Mark, is my mic sound any better?
is a smaller percentage of the total immigration that we have than legal immigration, but it's still higher today than it was 30
He's a lot louder than me. Oh,
35 years ago and
Is that
30 years
better?
ago, which is way too high. Illegal immigration should be zero. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Do we have any final
That
thoughts
might probably
before
be
we
a bit
move on
better,
to the
I would
next
Yeah,
imagine.
I mean, every crime should be zero, but there's always going to be some amount of crime or some amount of illegal
I don't know if I
immigrants.
can even change it
I
on
guess
which
the issue
fucking
I have
mixer
is
I
that
have,
you say why
but-
do the British people not understand the exact numbers? I didn't ask for the exact numbers. It's like
I feel like I'm
10 or
getting
11
fucking
million
sick,
to
which is just
1
awesome.
million. There are different estimates from 500,000 to 1.3 million or whatever illegals. That's a big ratio,
Better?
10 to 1 to be
Oh,
off
wait, I
by,
might
to
be able to
assume
change
it's
that, like,
50-50 that or that there are more illegals than there are legal immigrants here. And I think the issue is people in your position.
That's probably a
or,
bit better,
people
I would
like Reform
imagine.
Or Restore, depending on how far right you want to go, lie constantly about the immigrant population in the
That probably
United
sounds a
Kingdom.
bit better. It
And
looks
then
like I'm
as a
louder
result of
now
selling those
than
lies to the
they
people,
are.
You get these ridiculous plans or attempts to fix it all in the United Kingdom. And because the problem
How you
is
doing,
never
Mark?
as severe as it was stated in the first place, the problem ends up not being solved, and then you exacerbate other problems. So at the end of the Tory government, with this attempt with like the Rwanda plan, this idea that
tell
you're
me
going
what that
to
plan
ship
is.
people to other countries to have them processed first, or with the idea that leaving Brexit would give the UK greater control over their illegal immigrant population. And the reality is it did just the opposite. You didn't have the right to access the same people that would try to claim asylum in the EU, and then if they were rejected once there, to send them back if they came to Britain next. You lost access to a lot of these things. And then the same people that were in charge of pushing those ideas are now telling you and selling you on
whatever.
the idea that
This is annoying
reform
me
is
now.
going to come in and somehow fix the very same issues that they've been lying about and have failed to fix in the past. And you might hear this talking point, this cope that, well, reform is different. We're not going to be like the old conservatives. But then you've got all your politicians are going to be.
Yeah, I'm good. Maybe lower them a bit when you're commenting, or pause. Either way, I'm pleased you're doing this. Oh, thank you, Mark. I know. Yeah, I can do this a lot better. You're right. I am partly the reason I'm being shitty is I am exhausted. And my fucking alarm went off at 4:45 this morning. So I just wanted to get on because I want to try and do this every day, even if for a little bit of time. And I appreciate you coming by, Mark. Really do. Do you follow me on on Twitter or something? Wonder if I'd probably recognize you.
Tories that are defecting to join the new Reform Party. So I don't know where all this new.
So yeah, I should be doing this. My goal is to do this at least 5 days a week. Ideally, it would be good to do it for a little bit every day, even if just for an hour or two. But I'm going to be trying to do that. So if you guys keep seeing me go live, if you guys want to stop in, just stop on in. And I should have much more energy on other days versus today. Yeah, it's like, you know, when you get like so tired, like you have like the burning eye sensation, like that's just kicking in. And I business just feed. Hello. Thank you, dude. I'm glad you decided to stop on in. If you like it, yeah, subscribe and you'll be seeing me more. I'll be just covering news and shit, drama, whatever. Yeah, all that fun stuff.
Blood is going to come from. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a whole bunch of like, here's a fake problem. I'm going to put it in front of you. There is like a real problem here. Regardless of what you said earlier, I don't think rapes are good, mass rapes or normal rapes. I think there should be some probably cap on what type of immigrants and how many should come to the country. I just never really hear a discussion on any of that. I just hear 500,000 British girls have been gang raped by mass grooming gangs, and it wasn't like that when I came over in '96, despite the fact that those Rotherham grooming gang scandals started in the '80s. So I don't feel like I ever hear anything of substance being spoken about.
Well, it's a pity we didn't have someone from Reform on stage so you could rehash your Wikipedia talking points to them.
Jesus.
You're a Reform voter, though, right?
Fucking snarky a little bit, eh? It's not that nice.
No, I've never
Really?
voted. I've never voted for Reform.
Would you vote for Reform in the upcoming election?
Depends on who stands in my constituency. Last election, I voted for a Liberal Democrat.
I didn't ask about last election. In the upcoming election, will you vote for Reform?
I will probably vote for the same person who's a Liberal Democrat.
Okay, so you don't think you would support the Liberal Reform guy? I don't know, in your
Liberal
constituencies?
Reform. There's no party called Liberal
I'm sorry,
Reform.
you won't support the Reform candidate in whatever upcoming election. I don't know what constituency you live in.
I just told you that at the last election, I voted for Liberal Democrat.
Yeah, I know, but the reason why you're saying that is because you won't answer for the next one.
Stop interrupting.
Totally question
Stop
dodge.
interrupting. Stop interrupting.
Yeah, go for it.
I just told you that at the last election, I voted for a Liberal Democrat, and at the next election, I intend to vote for him as well.
I'm just curious. You said in the past that you regret, or not that you regret, that you voted
Can't imagine this would read well.
Remain for Brexit. Do you think that was a good vote? Do you think you should have remained, or do you think Brexit was a mistake?
I don't regret my vote for Remain, no.
Do you think Brexit was a mistake?
I think it had its negatives and positives, yeah. Like,
Are you sure you're not running for a political party right now? Because that was the most politician answer I've ever heard in my life.
All right,
And I
guys,
think that on
I'm done for the night. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know if anyone's still here. Mark, if you're still here, thank you very much. Like I said, I can't even think. I don't know why I would just stream sitting here and not being entertainment or entertaining. But Mark, I hope you swing by again. Good night. Thank you so much for stopping by. You're a good dude. Don't forget that.